Alright, I'm going to do a quick walkthrough of my track. Bear with me here, I'm not used to talking to myself. You can listen to the full track, and I'll leave a link in the description. For now, we'll just go through bits of it. So we start with this drum rack, playing some samples from the pack. Very little effects processing on these. Well, not very little. There's filtering and turning the gain up on the filters. Some of them have some LFO stuff going on. There's some automation to push the snare and kick a bit more in the chorus, I guess you could say. Over here. Not over there. Over here. There's a flanger on this ride cymbal. Alright. There's this pluck thing that happens at the start. This is just directly from the sample pack. It's all been retuned using this scala script to make it in the Bowl and Pierce scale. This whole thing is in the harmonic mode of the Bowl and Pierce scale. I wrote down some little markings to help me with it. These are the two main chords here. So I guess 3 chords that I'm using, and I'm just using different colors to mark off which one's which. This is the one I'm using. It sounds like this. Oops. It sounds like this. So in Bowl and Pierce, you have what's called a wide triad and a narrow triad. Those are sort of the equivalent, you could say, of the major and minor triads in your normal scale. The wide triad sounds like this. And if you add the tritive above the root note, you get this. And then the top 3 notes of that now make up the narrow triad. So the wide triad is a 3 to 5 to 7 ratio. Then you add the 3 to 5 to 7 to 9. And then just the 5 to 7 to 9 is the narrow triad. There's this pad here that was taken from... I can't really remember which sound it was. It was one of the sounds in the pack. What I did is I took one sample of it. I put a comb filter on it to remove some of the even harmonics. And then I resampled that. There's a whole thing in Bowl and Pierce. A lot of the time when you have sounds that don't have any even harmonics, it could sound really nice and open. It can cut down some of the dissonance because the ratios that are present in the scale are all there in the harmonic spectrum of the sounds you're using. And it can also increase your ability to perceive a tritive as equivalent in the same way that you consider an octave, or a similar way that you consider an octave to being equivalent. There's some, this again. And then there's some filters with there's a filter with some LFO and envelope stuff going on it just to give it some movement. Then there's this bass sound, which actually comes from the pad sound. Actually, I should play the pad a bit first. Something I've done a bit in my experiments writing with Bowl and Pierce is to get your ear kind of a bit more acclimated to the sound of it. I'll start off with the verse, you could call it, as just being a shuttle between 2 chords. And then when it gets to the chorus, if you want to call it that, I add 2 extra chords to make it a 4-bar loop. So the first 2 chords are the same. And I also double the harmonic rhythm here. So yeah, this bass sound here, it's the same thing as the pad after the comb filter is applied to it. But it has been pitched down and filtered and made a bit more mono here. A lot of people, when they write in Bull and Pierce, I know Elaine Walker has said that she does this, is that they'll keep the bass in a normal bass register and then an octave below that, an octave, not a tritive. They'll put a sub bass, like a sine wave, because it's just a sine wave, then there wouldn't be clashes really with the upper spectrum. I wanted to sort of stay true to the Bull and Pierce scale, and also I thought that it would be a bit too cheaty to make something near a sine wave with this. It would just be removing the character of the original sound too much. So I just made this very low, I guess you could say in like sub bass range, but gave it a lot of upper harmonics, just so you could hear it. Here. Oop. Bass. The glitchy sounds that you're hearing here is this is one of the sends. It's this Max for Live plugin. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's a little glitchy delay thing where you can randomize the pan, the filter, a bunch of stuff. This is, I guess, if you want to call it the pre-chorus. This is it in the chorus. There's these pluck sounds, which I have marked here as plucks odd, because it's the same pluck sound as up here in the original plucks, but with the same comb filter technique applied to it. I wanted to have the chorus be a bit more open, bit wide, bit big. So that sounds like this. It's just in the right ear, but then it switches to the left ear, while there's a doubling part that I'll get to later that has the opposite ear. It jumps a bit suddenly from right to left. I originally wanted to have it fade between them. I don't know if it's like a pan law thing or something, but if anyone could tell me how to do that in Ableton, make it so it doesn't sound like it gets really loud as they cross through the mid channel. Because you switch it from one to the other, and then when both tracks are fading into the other channels, it just sounds like there's a big increase in volume, which didn't really work. Oh yeah, these are also, this note is doubled up a pseudo octave, which is that here. That's, I think it's only like 30 cents short of an octave. I don't think all of these notes fit in scale when up the pseudo octave, but it's a neat effect and I think it works well. Elaine Walker did the same thing on, I think was it Stickman? Might have been Love Song or Stickman, I'm not sure. Oh yeah, some OTC on this just to give it that that electronic music hitting sound. Oh yeah, also on a few things here, on a few tracks, there's this plugin. Aside from the Ableton stock plugins and Max for Live plugins, the only other free plugins I used was this chorus, which is a free download. You can get it's an emulation of the Juno 60 chorus, and the comb filter. It was Melda's free comb filter plugin. Here we have some sound effects. This one is the pre-chorus. some ring modulation here, being being automated. More sound effects. There's this vocoder part, which is, here's the, oh. This is just a single cycle square waveform that I looped in Kontakt. That sounds like... And in the chorus, it's... There's some de-essing kind of going on here with the vocoder. And yeah, this is right after the first chorus, little, I don't know what you'd call it, a re-intro. A little effect to go with it. This is the beginning of the track, little fade in. Some transition effects. And then different ones here. That one's pretty much the same, but then there's a new one. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Is there anything I didn't touch on here? Yeah, I'll just click through. I'll just click through the plugins that I'm using. Yeah, I use a lot of flangers here. I don't usually use a lot of flangers, but I think it fit. There's also an excessive amount of tuners. Everything's just a big mess, and also like pitch plugins, just to make sure everything's in the same scale. Oh yeah, send. Yeah, just a normal reverb with a little dip, little low shelf, standard delay. Here's a bright plate. I put, I believe it was the and then yeah, there's this. I went through that already. Just a little limiter and a low cut on the master. This is for streaming, or I should say recording. And yeah, that's it. Have a listen to the track. Let me know what you think of it.